Hey, this is Antonio. Welcome back to my channel. Who's ready for some fighting words? In this video, I want to ask one question. What makes Inoue so dangerous? Really quick, if you like the channel, please take the time right now to subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so. If you have done so, thank you. And if you've done so recently, thank you and welcome to the channel. Also, if you could hit that thumbs up button, whether new or not, it really does help and support and further along this channel. Let's jump into this video. So the question is, what makes Inoue so dangerous? And I just basically wrote down a few things that I believe are the reason for that question in particular, or the answer for that question in particular. So let's just get started here. Power. I think power makes Inoue really dangerous. And I think all his opponents would vastly agree with me on that one. He's extremely powerful. I mean, you don't typically see guys his size with that much pop in his punch. He's a very dangerous guy. I feel like, I don't want to say he's a phenomenon, but I will say that you don't see guys like him every day, and I think that in itself is a little special. It's funny because you always see every once in a while we'll see these little guys with all this power. Manny Pacquiao had a lot of power. Look at Deontay Wilder. He's actually very small for the division. A lot of power. Mike Tyson had a lot of power. Mike Tyson at the time was actually very small for the division. And you see these guys who just pack a blow. Just pack a blow. And I think he's among those individuals, and I can go on, there's the Hawk, there's the G-Man, there's just guys who have this power from nowhere. Prince Nassim Hamed, said he didn't know where the power came from, but he could hit. One punch could get a guy out of there, no problem. And the crazy thing about him was he can kind of hit from anywhere. And Inoue kind of has the same thing as Prince Nassim Hamed. He can pretty much hit you from anywhere. And it can be a dangerous or potentially fight-ending punch. The next thing I would say is his fearlessness. And I think most punchers have this. Guys who hit really hard tend to be a little fearless because they know they can put you out with any punch. They know with the next punch, it could be the last moments of the fight. And Inoue has that. He has that mental thing where he's like, I hit hard. In worst case scenario, I hit hard. In the best case scenario, I hit hard. In any case scenario, I hit hard. And when you have that equalizer and you're aware of it, you're a dangerous individual, okay? You're a dangerous individual. Anything could be a setup for you to just hit hard, or you could just hit hard. It's as simple as that. But he's fearless because he'll run into the fire. He doesn't have a problem staying in the pocket. Inoue doesn't have a problem, like taking one to give one. He doesn't have a problem doing any of that. It's kind of like Triple G. Triple G will gladly stand in front of you if he knows he can hit you back. Canelo will do the same thing. If Canelo can hit you back, Canelo has no qualms about hitting, getting in a danger zone. Petreviev is the same way. He just recently fought Anthony Yardy, and he was like, listen, if I can hit you back, because I know I hit hard, by all means, I'll do it. And Inoue is no different. Very fearless and willing to step into the fire to create more fire. Self-belief. Inoue has a lot of self-belief. And this goes to the credit of just being a puncher. Listen, you can hit hard, okay? You can hit hard, but it's something else when you believe in your punches. And not everybody believes in their punches. So Sugar Hill, when he got around Tyson Fury, he started hitting harder. He just started hitting harder. And there was techniques in which case he did. But I also believe Sugar Hill kind of corrected Tyson Fury's technique and was like, no. Mentally, I need you to believe in these punches. If you believe in these punches, you're going to throw these punches much differently. The one thing we can always credit Deontay Wilder with is he believes he's going to get a knockout. He believes all he's got to do is lay his hands on you, and then it's night-night. He believes that. And when you believe it, the chances of it coming true are ridiculously higher because you believe it, because it's one thing to have technique, but for you to visualize it and for you to see it out, what you're playing out and up here, it can happen. Inoue believes in his punches. and he has great technique for it. And speaking of technique, let me jump into the next reason, that wide stance. When you have such a wide stance, you have a wide base, and you have a lot to pull back on. You have a lot to work with. You have a lot to generate from. And it's just a good foundation when you're throwing a punch. And yeah, I believe he naturally has pop, but I also think he has more pop because he has more technique, because he's training for a more impactful punch. And he does that with that wide stance. That also benefits him. It benefits him in two ways. When he is grounded and he's ready to just, scrap it out, it benefits him. Just because he has that wide base. But it also benefits him when he has to lunge forward. It benefits him. And it serves him very, very well. Leverage. When I say you got to believe in a punch, you got to believe in a punch. I'd probably say the most recent and I think perfect punch that I've seen in a long time would be Cruz. I think would be Tank. When he knocked out Santa Cruz. I think that's a really good punch. A really, really, really good punch. But it wasn't just that it was a good punch. It's just that he generated everything in his body and brought that thing up. That's the difference. I don't know if you guys watch Dragon Ball Z or anything like that, but it's kind of like some Super Saiyan type stuff where they're just like generating all that power and then they release that punch. And you see the difference with somebody who's fully invested in a punch. A punch is a lot like is a lot like a new business. You have to invest in it. You have to invest the time. You have to invest the capital. You have to invest in the property. And it's the same thing in a punch. You got to invest the time because you got to time that thing just right, but you also have to set that thing up. You have to invest the property. You need to know where we're going to have this thing out. Or, you know what? I'm right-handed. I want it over here. I need to get him in the corner. You need to know where you're going to have it. You need to invest the capital. All right, what punch is going to be that punch? My shovel hook's been touching him up pretty well. We're about 5 rounds in. I think that's going to be the punch. I think he's susceptible to hooks. I think he's susceptible to uppercuts. That's going to be the punch. And then finally, you just say, I'm going to put all my chips forward and I'm going to open up my business. And that's the actual punch. That's the actual attack. And Inoue does that. He believes in his punches. He's fearless. You have a wide stance. You have the leverage. You have the torque. Everything is there. Everything is there. Also, he's a very fluid fighter. He's not a robotic fighter where, it's 1, 2, no. He's a very fluid guy. It's just rolling off. It's rolling off. Very, very fluid. Roy Jones was fluid. Very fluid. James Toney was fluid. These are fluid guys, so it doesn't matter. It's just like, all right, well, these are the type of guys that can flow in the moment, and can be in their flow, and he's totally in the moment. When you're totally in the moment, you're aware of everything that's going on. You're aware of that little half a back step that your opponent took. You're aware of him trying to cock his left hand back. You're aware of him twitching his right hand. You're aware of all those things. You're aware of that little squint that he does right before he throws a punch. You're aware of all these things because you're in the flow. You're in the moment. Tenacity. Inoue is a very tenacious fighter. When he feels like he smells blood or he's in the presence of a wounded prey, it's all systems go. This dude is a Wolverine. When it's all systems go, it's all systems go, and it's go time. And he's going to apply that pressure. He's going to come in and he's going to load up on those shots. And everything that I just listed will come alive in that moment. The power, the fearlessness, the self-belief, that wide stance, that leverage equals tenacity. Great instincts. Very, very good instincts. I think all finishers, all punchers mainly, which typically are finishers, they all possess instinct. They know when they not only know when they've hurt somebody, they know the feeling of hurting someone. I remember Deontay Wilder said, you know, he hit a guy and he said, no, when I feel that feeling in my forearm, there's no coming back from that. That's when I feel that feeling consistently, there's no coming back from that. He's not the first guy I've ever heard say something like that, you know, and he knows he has great instincts. He knows when a guy is hurt. He knows when a guy is cowering down. He knows when a guy is fearful. He knows when a guy doesn't want any more. He knows. And you can see his instincts as he pounces on that situation. Not just mentally, because, all right, I know this, but I have to capitalize on this. And that's where all those things come into play again. The power, the fearlessness, the self-belief, that wide stance, that leverage, that tenacity. That tenacity. And that's why I think, or shall I say, that's what makes Inoue so dangerous. As always, please like, please share, please subscribe to this channel.